What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to do a video over a quick, efficient, and cheap knife sharpening setup. So what I'm doing here is getting a 80 grit piece of sandpaper ready to go because I do want to go ahead and completely dull the edge of this knife. So let's take a look. Okay, now that the knife is good and dull, and as you saw, it was not actually cutting my finger. Probably could have been a mess if I hadn't have actually dulled it, but it is pretty dull. It's not going to cut anything. I'm sure it would if you applied enough pressure, but for this demonstration, it's good enough. So next, I am actually going to be adding a 400 grit piece. Now, some people might want to use a 220 here, but for this demonstration, I'm using a 400 grit to reestablish the new edge on the knife. So something I would like you to take note of, notice how I am angling the blade and I am using a short, quick stroke. This is going to be the best way to establish an edge, but also how to proceed forward with the process as well. You don't want to drag the blade a lot longer than you have to, just because it will start to eat away at the blade itself. This is something you especially need to pay attention to as you're working with lower grit sandpaper, like 80 or 220 grit, because it will eat away at the steel like I mentioned. So you definitely don't want that to happen. Now I'm actually going to be adding on the 600 grit for the next step in the sharpening process. Okay, so something I want you to take note to is that I do 2 strokes and then I check the edge. Then I will even take sometimes a 4th stroke if I absolutely have to. Next, we're going to be working with the 1000 grit sandpaper. This is to start the honing process on the knife's edge. Okay, so now I'm switching over from the 1000 grit to the leather stroke belt that I have for the sander. This is what you're going to use at the very end of the process to help and start giving your knife its razor edge. Now you will see me apply a honing compound to it once I have the belt on and get it started. So I want y'all to take a look at this edge. You can clearly see the newly established convex edge. Of course, no sharpening video is complete without the arm shave test. That does it for this week's episode. Like I said, I wanted y'all to see a very inexpensive and very effective way to sharpen your knives. I know from experience when being in the field and you don't have the tools you need, and then you have to deal with it. It's extremely frustrating. And the great thing with this is it not only works on knives, it works on anything that has an edge. So lawnmower blades, hatchets, machetes, any of it. As long as it can be sharpened, you could utilize this thing. So I'm going to link the belt kit that I purchased on Amazon below. Then you can get the sander at your local Harbor Freight. It's a 1x30. They run $49.99, something like that. Check and see even if you can get like a 20% coupon. You know, it's better than nothing and it's extremely effective. You saw that I shaved my arm clean very easily, and that's after dulling that knife at the very start. So that's all I've got for you this week, and I'll catch you on next week's episode.